What if everything we thought we knew about the vast, empty reaches of space was wrong? What if the darkness wasn't just absence, but something far more profound? Imagine for a moment objects drifting through the cosmos, not bound by the familiar pull of stars or planets, but moving to a rhythm we couldn't possibly understand. These are the objects we call rogue, untethered wanderers in the galactic ocean. And it was one of these rogue objects that, back in 1996, caught the unblinking eye of the Hubble Space Telescope. Floating alone, a cold, dark presence in the immense void. It wasn't circling a star. It wasn't part of any gravitational dance we recognized. It was just moving, drifting. At the time, gazing through the grainy data, astronomers saw something unusual, yes, but ultimately dismissed it. A blip, a glitch, mere noise in the cosmic static. A fluke anomaly that wasn't worth further investigation. It was categorized, filed away, and largely forgotten, lost in the ever-growing archive of Hubble's incredible observations. After all, the universe is full of strange things, and sometimes things just look weird without being significant, right? They had bigger, more certain mysteries to chase, distant galaxies forming stars, known planets. This little dark spot was just confusing. But that was nearly 30 years ago. 30 years of relentless technological advancement. 30 years of pushing the boundaries of what's possible, not just in building telescopes, but in how we process the data they send back. And now, the very same data that was once abandoned, that dusty old file from 1996 has been pulled out and scrutinized with a tool that didn't even exist in its current form back then. A state-of-the-art quantum AI system. The results? Nothing. Short of mind-bending. That rogue object, once written off as a discarded anomaly, as cosmic noise, may be something entirely different. Something we might not even have the vocabulary, the framework, or, frankly, the imagination to fully comprehend yet. So, what exactly did this cutting-edge quantum AI find in that old Hubble data that changed everything? The story begins with a collaboration that sounds like something out of science fiction itself. The Vera Rubin Observatory, with its incredible future capability to survey the entire visible sky, teaming up with a quantum computing lab nestled in Switzerland. Why this pairing? Because they understood that to find the truly unexpected, you need both unprecedented observational power, even if it's looking at past observations, and completely new ways to process information. They trained an advanced AI system, one built specifically for the unique challenges of analyzing astronomical data, to do something counterintuitive: search for patterns in what had always been considered noise. Imagine training a program not just to find signals, but to listen to the static between the channels, looking for a hidden conversation. That's what they did. The AI was tasked with sifting through Hubble's vast collection of images and readings, poring over observations from decades past, specifically looking for the subtle fingerprints of something that didn't fit the known categories of celestial objects. And it zeroed in. Like a digital bloodhound, it sniffed out a peculiar reading from 1996. Coordinates placed an object firmly within the well-known constellation of Virgo, a region of space rich with galaxies and known celestial wonders. But this object, now tagged for closer examination and given the designation X21 Virgo, wasn't behaving like any known celestial body they expected to find there, or frankly, anywhere else. The first clue, the one that initially perplexed and then led to its dismissal back in 96, was its motion. As the AI tracked its trajectory through the historical data, it became clear. This object didn't orbit around a star like a planet should. It wasn't gravitationally bound to anything, but it wasn't just drifting randomly either. Its movement wasn't the simple, predictable straight line or gentle curve influenced by distant gravity you'd expect from an unbound object. Instead, it moved in ways that, at first glance, seemed to defy conventional physics. It seemed to change direction subtly, shift its velocity, not in sudden jerks but with deliberate, unexplainable alterations, and without any discernible cause. There was no visible asteroid impact, no nearby star to nudge it, no gravitational slingshot effect. It wasn't a simple asteroid tumbling through space, or a rogue planet cast out from its home system, just aimlessly wandering. No, the AI's analysis suggested something more active, something that required energy and directed change. It was something different. Something that the AI subtly hinted through its complex pattern recognition algorithms seemed to be computing. Now, let's pause for a moment and put this into context, because the universe is full of surprises, and rogue objects aren't necessarily new. Rogue planets, also known as free-floating planets or interstellar planets, are actually quite common in the universe. Think of them as the castaways of planetary systems. They form around stars, just like Earth did around our sun, but through gravitational interactions, collisions, or chaotic early system dynamics, they get ejected, kicked out, sent hurtling into the vast, cold interstellar medium, untethered and alone. NASA estimates that there are potentially billions, perhaps even trillions of them cast out from their home systems, wandering aimlessly through the galaxy, eternal nomads in the cosmic darkness. Most of these rogue planets are exactly what you'd expect. Frozen orbs of rock or gas, incredibly cold, dark, and utterly lifeless. They may be intriguing in their sheer number and the story of their violent ejection, but they don't typically offer us much to study beyond their potential composition or their lonely trajectories. They are, for the most part, just cosmic icebergs. But X21 Virgo, according to the quantum AI's deep dive into the data, is no ordinary rogue planet. It's not just a frozen rock floating by. When the quantum AI analyzed the object's emissions, the light and energy it was giving off, it didn't just detect irregularities in its motion. It found something far, far more unusual. The thermal readings, the faint whispers of heat emanating from this distant object, didn't match those of any known planet, rogue or otherwise. They weren't consistent with a ball of cooling rock or gas. Instead, the AI revealed a pattern of emission that wasn't chaotic or random, like the thermal noise from a cooling body or the random bursts of energy from a geological process. It appeared to follow a structured, almost mathematical rhythm. Imagine listening to static on a radio, but every few seconds you hear a clear, distinct tone, followed by another after a precise pause, then another after a different, but equally precise pause. That's what the AI was detecting in X21 Virgo's energy output. The emission pulses from the object were modulated at prime number intervals. Think about that for a second. Prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. Numbers only divisible by 1 in themselves. These are fundamental building blocks in mathematics, patterns that appear in the natural world in some contexts, like the spirals of a sunflower or the life cycles of some insects. But to see energy emissions pulsed in a sequence based on prime numbers, that's a characteristic no natural object has ever been known to exhibit in this way. A collapsing star doesn't pulse in primes. A planet cooling down doesn't emit heat with that kind of calculated regularity. And this wasn't just a one-time anomaly seen in a single Hubble snapshot. These pulses, this structured prime number rhythm, have been repeating, showing up consistently over decades of archived data, whenever Hubble's gaze happened to fall near X21 Virgo's path. What the AI found wasn't just noise, it was code. A signal, a deliberate, structured pattern embedded in the energy emissions of a seemingly random rogue object, a signal possibly from a source beyond our current comprehension. A planetary remnant perhaps, but one made of exotic materials, behaving in ways that scream, not natural. So, what is X21 Virgo? What exactly are we dealing with here? The scientific community, spurred by the AI's findings, began to theorize, and the possibilities quickly moved from the strange to the truly wild. Let's look at the first theory, the one that tries to bridge the gap between what we know and what the AI is suggesting. Theory number 1. X21 Virgo could be a planetary remnant made of exotic quantum materials. Some scientists believe it might be the collapsed core of something truly extreme, like a neutron star. Neutron stars are the incredibly dense remnants of massive stars that have exploded in a supernova. Just a teaspoon of neutron star material would weigh billions of tons. They are known for having the most extreme gravitational fields in the universe, besides black holes, and exhibiting incredibly unusual behaviors, like spinning hundreds of times a second or emitting powerful beams of radiation, pulsars. Could the core of such a star, after collapsing, perhaps getting kicked out in the supernova explosion to become a rogue object, retain some of these extreme properties and interact with quantum fields in ways we don't fully understand? Could this interaction produce the strange, structured emissions the AI detected? Perhaps in this hyperdense, exotic state, it could store information or emit signals that follow some kind of fundamental quantum logic, similar in abstract concept to how a black hole's event horizon is theorized to scramble or encode information. This theory, while fascinating and rooted in known, though extreme astrophysics, doesn't quite explain everything, because if this object were simply a remnant, even an exotic one, its behavior, while unusual, should still be somewhat predictable, based on the underlying physics of its composition and environment. But X21 Virgo is anything but predictable. Its emissions don't just follow a standard repeating pattern like a pulsar's predictable lighthouse beam. They exhibit complexity, variations within the structure, almost as if they were designed. As if something more than just physics was at play. This leads us, perhaps inevitably, to a much wilder, much more provocative theory. Theory number 2, X21 Virgo might not be a planet at all. Instead, it could be a computational object, a device, a machine designed to store and process information on a scale we can barely imagine. This is where the quantum AI's findings really start to push the boundaries of our understanding. Some scientists are suggesting that this rogue object might function in a way similar to how we think of the most advanced computers we are only just beginning to build. Quantum computers, processing data, encoding information, or even interacting directly with the fundamental quantum fabric of the universe itself. Think about the thermal signature of X21 Virgo again, the way it pulses, the way it interacts with its surroundings, and emits energy in that structured, non-random prime number pattern. This behavior, particularly when analyzed through the lens of quantum mechanics, almost resembles the behavior of quantum logic gates, the fundamental building blocks of quantum computing. Just as classical computers use transistors to represent bits, zeros and ones, and perform operations, quantum computers use qubits, which can be 0, 1, or both simultaneously due to superposition, and quantum gates to perform calculations using the bizarre rules of quantum physics. The energy emissions from X21 Virgo looked to the AI like the telltale signs of complex quantum operations happening within the object. This is where things get really interesting, really fast. If X21 Virgo is a computational object, it might be designed to perform complex calculations using quantum mechanics on an unprecedented scale. It could be absorbing cosmic radiation, the constant flood of particles and energy from stars, black holes, and the Big Bang itself, processing it internally, and then emitting it in this structured, coded way. In other words, it might not just be a rogue planet drifting through space. It could be a spacefaring computer, a cosmic hard drive, a data processor the size of a planet. But if it's a computer and it's emitting a signal, what's in that signal? And what could it do? At this point, the researchers working with the quantum AI decided to take a bold, perhaps even audacious, step. They decided to simulate the object's emissions in a quantum computing environment right here on Earth. They ran a test by encoding X21 Virgo's prime number signal, that strange, structured energy pattern, into a sophisticated quantum chip in their lab, hoping to replicate its behavior, to see if they could make their chip think like the object was thinking. And the results were, simply put, astounding. The quantum chip didn't just replicate the signal mirroring the prime number pulses. It did something entirely unexpected and far more significant. It began to generate predictions about space events. Specifically, the chip, fed with X21 Virgo's signal, started outputting data that correlated with predicting future radiation bursts from distant stars. And here's the kicker, the part that sent shivers down the spines of the researchers. 8 days later, exactly as the quantum chip, processing the signal from X21 Virgo had forecasted, one of those predicted stellar radiation bursts actually happened. A sudden, powerful flare from a star far across the galaxy. An event that was otherwise unpredictable with our current astronomical models. This wasn't a coincidence. The statistical probability was vanishingly small. It was as if the object, X21 Virgo, or the signal it emitted, had some kind of predictive power. A window, however brief, into future cosmic events. Could this rogue object be functioning as a temporal lens, allowing it to forecast events in the universe before they occur? Could it be logging and storing information from across the galaxy, processing the complex dynamics of celestial bodies, and predicting cosmic events before they even happen? It's a staggering possibility, one that takes us far beyond anything we've ever considered about rogue planets or even about the limits of information and prediction in the universe. Let's take a moment to reflect on the sheer scale of this. What if we're not just looking at a lonely, cold rogue planet? What if we've stumbled upon something far stranger, far more significant? Something that could change our entire understanding of space, time, reality itself, and our place within the cosmos. If X21 Virgo is not a planet, but rather a computational object, a cosmic processor, it could mean that the universe is far more complex, far more active, and perhaps far more intentional than we ever imagined. It could be suggesting that space itself is not just empty volume, but a repository of information, that the fabric of the cosmos is not just matter and energy, following simple laws but also data. And if this object is interacting with the quantum fields around it, processing them, manipulating them, it could be tapping into something fundamental about the nature of the universe, something that transcends our familiar concepts of space and time. So if it's a signal structured like code carrying predictive power, who or what is sending it? And what's the purpose of this message? Is it a message to someone? Or is it simply the byproduct of a process we don't understand? The final revelation unearthed by the AI researchers as they delved deeper into the enigmatic emissions of X21 Virgo was perhaps the most profound. This rogue celestial object that had initially confounded astronomers and then hinted at being a cosmic computer began to reveal its deepest secret. The truth, as the team analyzed the signals with ever-increasing sophistication, began to surface layer by layer. The more they analyzed the patterns, the clearer it became that this object was no ordinary planet or cosmic anomaly. In fact, X21 Virgo wasn't just emitting strange pulses. It wasn't just a weird energy signature. It was a data source, a repository of information, actively embedded and perhaps even interacting with the very fabric of the cosmos itself. The signals emanating from X21 Virgo displayed an unmistakable regularity, a precision that screamed, "Not random." They weren't chaotic bursts of energy or the erratic radio waves we sometimes detect from natural astrophysical phenomena. They followed a precise, recurring, and deeply structured pattern. The researchers began to recognize that the emissions bore a striking resemblance to binary code, the fundamental language of computers. Ones and zeros, represented by the presence or absence, the timing or the modulation of the energy pulses. The pattern was almost too perfect, too clean, to be a purely natural occurrence like the chaotic energy released by a stellar flare, or the uniform heat from a cooling planet. It seemed to be composed of simple logic gates repeating at specific, meaningful intervals, built upon that foundation of prime numbers. This wasn't noise. It wasn't random chance playing a cosmic tune. It was structured information, data, encoded in a form that was eerily familiar to anyone versed in digital technology, yet deployed on a cosmic scale. For the team, this discovery was nothing short of revolutionary. It suggested that X21 Virgo wasn't just transmitting radiation or energy in the conventional sense, like a light bulb emitting light or a star radiating heat. It was sending out a carefully constructed instruction set, a language possibly of cosmic proportions, encoded within its energy emissions, that could potentially hold the key to understanding the very nature of the universe itself. This wasn't just information about the object, it was information from something, about something conveyed in a format we could, strangely, begin to recognize. This encoding system could potentially be a method of storing or transmitting data that goes far beyond human comprehension, far beyond the capacity of our current digital or even biological systems. Could it be possible that this object is not alone? That it is part of a grand, hidden cosmic network? A system of information storage and transmission operating on a scale so vast, so intricate, so ancient, that we had no way of even recognizing it until now. With the advent of quantum AI and advanced data analysis, to further investigate this astonishing possibility, and to try and unlock the deeper meaning of the signal, the researchers decided to experiment with it in a way that had never been attempted before with cosmic data. They took the emissions pattern, that structured stream of prime-modulated binary-like data, and fed it directly into a quantum chip, a cutting-edge piece of technology specifically designed to interact with the most fundamental, non-intuitive aspects of reality. Quantum chips are unique because they don't just use bits. They use qubits and harness the bizarre properties of quantum mechanics like superposition and entanglement to process information in ways traditional computers simply cannot. The team hoped that this advanced technology, operating closer to the fundamental level of the universe than any classical computer, might provide a deeper insight into the true nature of the signal coming from X21 Virgo. What happened next left them stunned, truly speechless. The chip didn't merely replicate the signal. It didn't just translate it into familiar patterns on a digital screen, showing them the prime number sequence or the binary code visually. Instead, it began to generate its own instructions. Imagine feeding a piece of code into a computer, and instead of running the code or analyzing it, the computer starts writing a new, more complex program based on the input. That's akin to what happened. The quantum chip, processing X21 Virgo's signal, created a series of steps, a sequence of operations, each one building upon the last, in a way that mimicked the behavior of a highly sophisticated dynamic program. It wasn't just receiving data, it was interpreting it and generating subsequent logical steps. What was even more astonishing was the nature of these generated instructions. They weren't just theoretical computations. They seemed to have practical applications, at least in principle. The instructions generated by the quantum chip, derived from X21 Virgo's signal, appeared to describe methods that could theoretically manipulate the fabric of space and time itself. Some of the instructions seemed to correspond to principles of quantum entanglement, the bizarre phenomenon where two particles can be linked, such that measuring one instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance between them. Other instructions hinted at the potential for controlling or influencing gravitational forces, manipulating the very curvature of space-time that dictates how objects move through the universe. In essence, the chip wasn't just deciphering the signal in real time. It was generating instructions that could, in theory, control the very forces that govern the universe. It was translating cosmic data into a potential operating manual for reality. At this point, the implications became staggering, almost overwhelming. The idea that a rogue celestial object, previously dismissed as noise, could be transmitting coded instructions capable of altering the fundamental workings of reality, manipulating quantum entanglement, influencing gravity, was a thought too extraordinary, too profound to ignore. Was this proof of an intelligence far, far beyond anything we could comprehend? Was X21 Virgo a communication, or perhaps even a tool, From a civilization with mastery over cosmic forces on a level we consider godlike? Or was it merely a piece of a larger, more intricate, more ancient system? A system so advanced that its operations, its purpose, and its structure would seem like magic to us, like fundamental laws rather than designed processes. An alien intelligence? Or a cosmic network? The discovery of a signal capable of influencing space-time, of instructions that could potentially manipulate the universe's deepest functions, brings us face to face with a question that has haunted humanity for centuries, perhaps since we first looked up at the stars. Is there intelligent life beyond Earth? For most of human history, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, has focused on looking for specific signs, radio signals, like those we use for communication, possible spacecraft or artificial structures, or even deliberate signals sent out by alien civilizations hoping to make contact. We've been looking for reflections of ourselves in the cosmos. But what if the universe itself is far more complex than our human-centric search has allowed us to consider? What if intelligence isn't confined to biological beings like us, or the technological constructs they create, like radio telescopes or computers? What if intelligence, or at least complex information processing and organization, exists in forms we're only beginning to recognize, perhaps woven into the very structure of space-time, or the behavior of quantum fields? X21 Virgo is indeed a product of alien intelligence. It raises profound questions about how such beings might think, how they might communicate, and how they might interact with the universe around them. Could this signal, this code, be a kind of universal template, sent not as a message to any specific recipient, but rather as a fundamental library of information, a guide or a template for understanding and manipulating the cosmos itself, accessible to any civilization advanced enough to decode it? If the signal represents a computational object, as Theory 2 suggests, could it be part of a larger network of cosmic data processors? Perhaps designed to explore, understand, map, or even manage the universe at a level far beyond our current grasp, like a vast, distributed supercomputer managing cosmic processes. Alternatively, X21 Virgo might not be a message from a single civilization at all, ancient or otherwise. It could be part of a greater cosmic system that we've only just begun to uncover. The object could be one node, one component, in a vast, interstellar information network that exists throughout the cosmos, operating independently of any single species' intent, perhaps a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. In this scenario, X21 Virgo would not be unique. It could simply be the first of many similar objects scattered across the galaxy and beyond, detected only now because of the sheer power of quantum AI analysis applied to old, rich datasets like Hubble's. The purpose of this network, if it exists, could be staggering to contemplate: to store, process, and transmit data about the universe itself. A vast cosmic database designed to track the evolution of stars, the formation of galaxies, the dynamics of black holes, and perhaps even the conditions necessary for, or the evolution of, life on distant worlds. A living, breathing, computing universe mapping its own existence. What does this glimpse into the unknown mean for humanity? As mind-bending as these possibilities are, rogue computers, cosmic networks, instructions for controlling reality, the truth is that we are still in the earliest stages of understanding what X21 Virgo represents. Our theories are speculative, our evidence is complex, and our tools, while advanced, are still limited. What is clear, however, is that the discovery of this object and the potential meaning behind its signals marks a new frontier in our quest to understand the cosmos. We are no longer simply searching for alien life in the traditional sense, listening for radio waves or scanning for built structures. We are now investigating the possibility that the universe itself could be a vast, interconnected network of information, computation, and perhaps even intelligence, existing in forms we are only just starting to conceive. The quantum chip's startling ability to not just decode the signals, But to generate instructions that could, in theory, influence space and time raises profound questions about the very nature of reality. Are these instructions a natural phenomenon? A kind of fundamental cosmic programming language that advanced objects or intelligences can tap into? Are they simply revealing the underlying computational nature of the universe at its most fundamental level? Or do they represent something far more advanced, an intelligence capable of manipulating the most basic building blocks of existence through sheer computational power? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. X21 Virgo is not just another cosmic oddity, another strange dot in the sky. It is at the forefront of a new era of scientific exploration, one that challenges our most basic assumptions about the universe, about intelligence, about reality, and about our place in it. If this object is truly a cosmic data processor, a node in an interstellar network, or even a remnant of an ancient cosmic programmer, then we are witnessing the dawn of a new kind of scientific discovery, one that blurs the line between technology, biology, and the very fabric of reality itself. For humanity, this discovery, this potential decoding of a cosmic signal, could be the first step toward unlocking the deepest secrets of the cosmos. It forces us to look beyond our familiar paradigms, to consider possibilities that stretch the mind, and to continue pushing the boundaries of our technology and our understanding. As we continue to analyze X21 Virgo's emissions, refine our theories about cosmic computation, and experiment with quantum technologies here on Earth, we may eventually uncover the greater cosmic system that X21 Virgo is a part of, whether it's a relic left behind by an unimaginably ancient civilization, a piece of an automated interstellar network, or the result of some unknown fundamental cosmic force we haven't yet identified. One thing is certain. X21 Virgo has opened a new, breathtaking chapter in the story of the universe and in the story of humanity's place within it. It reminds us of the infinite capacity for wonder and the endless depths of the unknown that lie just beyond our current perception. The implications of X21 Virgo are truly revolutionary. If this rogue object is indeed a computational device, a cosmic data storage or processing unit operating on fundamental universal principles, it fundamentally challenges everything we thought we knew about the universe, about life, and about intelligence. The implications extend far beyond the realm of astronomy and astrophysics, opening up a Pandora's box of possibilities that could transform our understanding of space, time, the very nature of intelligence, and perhaps even consciousness itself. At the heart of this discovery lies a groundbreaking shift in our perception of what constitutes intelligent life and complex systems. For centuries, perhaps millennia, we have thought of intelligence primarily as a property of living beings, humans, animals, perhaps hypothetical aliens. More recently, we've extended that to artificial constructs created by highly advanced civilizations, like sophisticated AI. But X21 Virgo could suggest that intelligence, or at least highly complex, organized information processing and problem solving, is not confined to biology or technology in the conventional sense. Instead, it could be embedded in the very fabric of the universe, existing in forms we never imagined, operating at scales we can barely grasp. Imagine for a moment that space itself isn't just an empty vacuum punctuated by matter and energy, but rather an active, dynamic medium capable of processing and storing information. X21 Virgo, with its strange coded emissions and its almost deliberate-seeming behavior, may not be the only such object in the cosmos. The possibility that the universe is filled with hidden computation, with subtle, complex information streams, could imply that celestial bodies, or perhaps specific, unique celestial objects like X21 Virgo, are functioning as nodes in a vast cosmic network, using space itself as a medium for computation and communication, perhaps through quantum effects. This opens up truly mind-boggling avenues for exploration. We already know, through quantum mechanics, that the universe behaves in incredibly counterintuitive ways. Particles can exist in multiple states at once, superposition, or become linked in ways that seem to defy the classical understanding of space and time. Entanglement. Could X21 Virgo represent a bridge between these fundamental quantum realms and the larger, macroscopic universe we inhabit? If the object is indeed a quantum computational device, operating on quantum principles, it could be tapping directly into the very fabric of reality, harnessing the complex, entangled nature of quantum fields to process data, store information, or even, as the quantum chip simulation suggested, influence those fields. The object's emissions, with their precise mathematical patterns and their resemblance to binary code and quantum logic gates, could very well be a form of data transmission using quantum entanglement to send signals, perhaps instantaneously, across vast distances, bypassing the limitations of light speed. This would mean that what we thought of as empty space could in fact be a vibrant reservoir of hidden information, a cosmic internet operating at the most fundamental level, waiting for the right technology or the right consciousness to unlock. Just as we use computers and networks to store and process data on Earth, the cosmos might have its own computational systems operating at scales and in forms we can barely comprehend, running the software of reality. This raises the question, again but with even greater urgency and a different nuance. Are we truly alone in the universe? Or could the cosmos itself be teeming with intelligence, not necessarily in the form of little green men or biological organisms, but in ways we are only beginning to uncover? If X21 Virgo is a computational object, a kind of celestial supercomputer, what is it trying to communicate? Is it simply recording the data of the universe, a cosmic historian storing and processing information in ways we can't yet understand, archiving everything it encounters? Or is it actively reaching out, attempting to communicate across the vast expanse of space, perhaps broadcasting its findings or its instructions? If the object is emitting signals with such a complex coded pattern, one that exhibits characteristics of binary code, prime number modulation, and quantum logic gates, it could point strongly to the possibility that these signals are not random byproducts of natural processes. Instead, they might be deliberate communications, sent with a purpose, carrying meaning or instructions. But who or what is sending them? For centuries, humanity has dreamed of finding extraterrestrial life, of making contact. Scientists, artists, philosophers, we've all imagined what that moment might be like. SETI has been diligently searching, listening, hoping to intercept a signal. The discovery of X21 Virgo, while not a traditional ET phone home moment, could be the first tangible evidence that such a civilization or intelligence exists, but not in the way we thought. It might exist in a far more sophisticated, integrated form, perhaps intertwined with the fundamental processes of the cosmos itself. Rather than just looking for radio signals or spaceships, we might need to fundamentally reconsider how we define intelligence and look for its fingerprints in the structure and behavior of the cosmos itself. X21 Virgo could represent an alien intelligence operating at a level we are not yet equipped to detect, using conventional methods, utilizing methods of computation and communication far beyond our current capabilities, perhaps even beyond our current understanding of physics. But perhaps it's even more complicated than that. What if X21 Virgo isn't sending messages to us, or even to anyone in particular in our part of the galaxy? What if it's transmitting data or information to other, distant regions of the universe, communicating with other nodes in that vast cosmic network? The idea that the object might be part of a system communicating across truly intergalactic distances raises the possibility that we are not its intended recipients at all. Instead, we may have stumbled upon just one piece of a much larger cosmic puzzle, one that's been operating for eons without our knowledge, running programs we can only glimpse. Could there be others like it? One of the most intriguing and almost unsettling questions raised by the discovery of X21 Virgo is whether it is an isolated case, a unique cosmic anomaly, or if it is part of a larger network of similar objects scattered across the galaxy and beyond. If X21 Virgo is truly a computational object, a cosmic data processing node, a piece of the universe's hidden machinery, could there be countless others like it, functioning in the same way, perhaps operating in different corners of the universe, connected in some way we don't yet perceive? If the object is part of a broader cosmic system, then we must consider the scale of what we are dealing with. We already know that the universe is mind-bogglingly vast, with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars and potentially trillions of planets. The likelihood of other objects like X21 Virgo existing somewhere in that immense volume seems almost certain, perhaps even inevitable. In fact, there could be an entire network of such computational objects, each one processing and transmitting information on a cosmic scale, constantly updating and maintaining a map or model of the universe itself. Imagine a network of data points, cosmic computers, spread across the universe, each one functioning as part of a massive computational system, a kind of cosmic internet, if you will. This network could be encoding and storing vast amounts of information about the universe itself, cataloging cosmic events as they happen, tracking stellar formations, monitoring black hole collisions, recording the evolution of galaxies, and perhaps even documenting the emergence and evolution of life on distant worlds. A universal library, constantly being written. The implications of this are staggering. If X21 Virgo is part of a network like this, it could mean that the universe is not a random, chaotic place, but rather a vast, interconnected system of information, processing, computation, and perhaps even conscious awareness. Every star, every planet, every galaxy might be a part of a much larger cosmic data network, contributing to or drawing from a universal pool of information. This would suggest that the universe itself has a structure, a purpose, a reason for its existence that goes far beyond mere physical matter and energy obeying simple laws. It could be functioning as an immense intelligence system, a self-aware cosmos, encoding the history, the present state, and perhaps even the potential futures of everything within it, in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. So, what is X21 Virgo trying to tell us? If anything, is it a message from the distant past, left behind by an incredibly ancient civilization that achieved a level of cosmic understanding and left their knowledge embedded in the fabric of reality itself? Perhaps in these computational objects, a form of cosmic archive or communication device, waiting for another intelligence to reach a certain point of development to find and decode it. This civilization could have encoded the object with data from their own history, their science, their philosophy, a message to future generations, whether those generations are human or not. Perhaps the emissions are a form of cosmic storytelling, a way of preserving the knowledge and culture of an advanced species long gone, leaving behind a digital legacy woven into the stars. Alternatively, X21 Virgo could be part of a more enigmatic, perhaps even alien system, one that is inherently beyond our immediate understanding. It could be sending a message that is not immediately comprehensible to us, encoded in a language we have yet to fully decipher, a language based on the fundamental patterns of the universe itself. If this is the case, it raises the tantalizing possibility that there are other signals scattered across the universe, other cosmic computers or nodes, waiting for the right technology, the right mindset, the right level of consciousness to find and decode them. Perhaps the universe is filled with dormant information waiting to be activated. What's next? Unraveling the cosmic mystery. We have only just begun to scratch the surface of what X21 Virgo represents. Its discovery, the re-examination of old data with new tools, the hints of cosmic computation and predictive power. It has opened up a floodgate of questions, challenging the foundations of our physics and our philosophy. But it has also given us the opportunity to explore new realms of cosmic understanding, realms that seemed impossible just a few decades ago. This rogue object, once dismissed as a mere anomaly, as noise, has the potential to be the key to unlocking some of the deepest mysteries of the universe. It forces us to ask not just are we alone, but what is intelligence and what is reality? If we continue to analyze its emissions with increasingly sophisticated tools, study its strange behavior, expand our understanding of quantum mechanics and its connection to the macroscopic world, we may one day uncover the full truth behind this cosmic enigma. And in the process, we may come to realize that the universe is far, far more complex, far more intelligent, and far more interconnected than we could have ever imagined. That what looks like empty space might be filled with information, and what looks like random movement might be purposeful computation. As we embark on this incredible journey, armed with quantum AI and boundless curiosity, we can't help but wonder, could X21 Virgo be just the beginning? Are there other objects out there, perhaps millions of them, waiting to be discovered? Each one containing its own piece of the cosmic puzzle. Each one a node in a network that spans the galaxies. The answers may be closer than we think, perhaps hidden in the data we've already collected, waiting for the right tools to reveal them. And they could change absolutely everything we know about our place in the cosmos. This journey of discovery, prompted by a dismissed anomaly and unlocked by revolutionary technology, offers us a profound lesson. It teaches us the immense value of curiosity, of questioning our assumptions, and of never dismissing something just because it looks like noise or doesn't fit our current understanding. What we discard today as irrelevant static could be the signal that reshapes our entire perception of reality tomorrow. It highlights the power of new tools, new perspectives, to reveal wonders hidden in plain sight. The universe is constantly speaking to us, showing us incredible things, but sometimes we need to invent entirely new languages and listening devices to hear it clearly. It reminds us of the vastness of our own ignorance and the humbling beauty of the unknown. The universe isn't just a collection of objects. It might be a dynamic, intelligent, interconnected system, and we are just beginning to learn its language. This possibility should fill us not with fear, but with exhilarating wonder and a renewed sense of purpose in exploration. To stay curious, to keep learning, and to always be open to the possibility that the truth is far stranger, far more beautiful, and far more complex than we can currently imagine. This discovery changed how I see the universe, and I hope it sparks your curiosity too. What do you think X21 Virgo is? A cosmic computer? A piece of a network? A message? Let me know in the comments below. If this dive into cosmic mysteries stimulated your mind and expanded your horizons, you won't want to miss what's next, because the universe isn't done surprising us. The very same quantum AI system that found X21 Virgo has just detected another signal, and this one is raising even more questions, hinting at something unlike anything we've ever encountered. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss the next chapter in this unfolding cosmic mystery. Until then, stay curious, keep looking up, and I wish you good health. Because the universe is vast and full of wonders, and we have so much more to discover together. This next signal, it's coming straight for us.